Alright, so we have our first batch of heat treat from the eBay stone. And what I do is I go ahead and test it. This first round is at, let's see, I'll write the temperature down. It was 345 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the highest temperature that it was set at, and that's 4 hours. Okay, this is all 345 for 4 hours. The first step is 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 24 hours. And then I went to 275. I think I did that for 2 hours. And then set it for 345. Yeah, I only did 3 different temperatures on this one. I didn't ramp it up slowly. These are pretty small chunks, so you can ramp up small chunks faster than you can with the big chunks. I would divide this into one more, I would go to like 3, in between 275 and 345. I don't know, that would be around 300 or 310, something like that. I'd do the in between for larger chunks, maybe 315, and that would be for 2 hours. You can extend these times or reduce these times. It has to be, I would say, 1 hour minimum on these ramp ups. This ramp up and that ramp up. It goes at 200 for 24 hours, and then you turn the dial to 275 or to whatever corresponds to 275 on the thermometer or on the temperature gauge. The dial itself will not read this. What the dial actually says on mine is 200. This is for the dial. It's 75 degrees hotter in actuality. So the dial is 200. Over here the dial is like I put it at 150 and I get about 200. So it only ramps up about 50 degrees at this temperature. It ramps up 75 degrees at this temperature, and it's about 100 degrees at this temperature. So the dial, this is what the dial says on the turkey roaster. This is the actual. This is Fahrenheit. All right. Maybe it's a little bit higher. Maybe it's 250 and I get 345. So my temperature increase because of the insulated lid is between 50 and 100 degrees. It seems to heat up more the higher I set the dial. So there's more of a difference the higher I go with the dial. I don't know why. But anyway, the dial itself is 150 on the turkey roaster. It'll give me about 200 degrees, and then I leave it there for 24 hours. Then I move the dial to 200. It goes up to 275. And then I moved it to 245, and it went up to 345. All right? Now this is not exact. Sometimes it needs more than this. It's not exact, so that's why you use a temperature gauge. All right? You need a temperature gauge. I keep saying thermometer, but it's actually a temperature gauge that you install on your turkey roaster. The actual will be indicated on the temperature gauge. It's very important. The dial may read something totally different, which it probably will, and it will vary Mine varies between 50 and 100 degrees, depending on where I set the dial. It's kind of weird like that. All right? But you can go in between here. I mean, I could have gone like, I think I could have set the dial to 225 and gotten to 315. That kind of thing. So the dial setting is different from the actual temperature. Just so you know. Just so you know. All right, so I let it cool down for 12 hours minimum. So 12-hour minimum cool down. 12-hour minimum cool down. Okay, just so you know. Now, and then I test it all. What naps well, I'll put on the right side. What doesn't nap well, I'll put on the left for the next heat treat. I'm going to raise it up hotter than this final temperature. I'm going to go to like 425 on the next heat treat. That's not bad. Feels alright. I think it'd be better if I do the indirect percussion thing. That way I can get longer flakes. Yeah, that's not bad. So this one is okay. It might nap better if I go hotter. But if it naps okay, you know, why even go hotter? Let's see. Sometimes the testing takes a while. Let's see. I want to see if it thins down well. Yeah, see, it's slightly glossy. See that? Slight gloss compared to this. So this is fine. It's not great, but it's now very similar to high quality raw. See, and see how it's wavier. See how non-wavy this original surface is, but now it's wavier. That means you've got a difference in the flexibility. And a little bit of gloss, but there's no color change. No color change at all. Okay, but it's easier to nap. And it's only 345 for 4 hours. So easily attainable in a campfire, just sitting the rocks around the campfire. You can get this. Now, you can't ramp it up like this on a campfire unless you're sitting there all day. Sometimes, you know, if you want, if you're out camping or whatever, if you're going to be sitting there all day, you can take a break for a couple hours and come back, but I wouldn't recommend it. You got to keep constantly feeding the fire and make sure it's the right temperature. Now, some guys, once you get good at cooking over a fire, you just put your hand next to the fire and you can tell just by feel if the fire is at the right temperature. But to begin with, if you're not good at that, you either get a temperature gauge for your fire, you either get a little gun that indicates the temperature, it reads it infrared, or you use your hand or some meat you're cooking while you're heat treating. Okay, so this is good. So it's a good stuff over here. I think this is the same stuff. Now, should I put it back in anyway, just to see if it is even better at a higher temperature? I could, yes. But this is napping like high quality raw now. Let me see. Let me try to get a big flake. Because the real test is the big flakes. To see if it'll run big flakes easily. And then I'll do a little bit of pressure flaking too. Let's see. Yeah, trying for a big flake. That's not bad. It's still kind of, how should I say, dry? Yeah, it's not really waxy. But let me see. Yeah, if I can run long flakes, that's all I need. Yeah. So in a perfect world, I got to make sure it's all labeled correctly, right? 345, 4 hours, check. 345 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 hours, check. And do that for all of it. 345 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 hours. Now, you don't have to label them all if you label the container. But if you're going to mix them up together with other flakes, that's when you need to label them all. But I'm not going to label them all. I'm just going to keep them all in one container. Yeah, see, it's napping like high quality raw, which is very encouraging. Yes, indeed. It's best that I don't have to heat treat it more than once. And if it heat treats at a low temperature, even better, it saves on energy costs. And on the other side, if you're using just wood and you're using natural fires, 345 is easy to achieve, and you don't have to spend too much time. How should I say? You don't have to spend the time necessary to get the kind of wood you need for a hot fire. Most kinds of wood will work at 345 degrees. Easy. You don't need any really dense hardwood. You could probably even use pine or whatever. Cheap wood will get you to 345 degrees easy. Yeah, it's napping like high quality raw, so it's good. Alright, so that's all the same stuff, right? Basically. And remember, it's important to remember that it did not change color and barely changed luster, but the nappability went way up. Alright, so back in the day, look, there's no difference, but the nappability of this went way up. So when you find an artifact, it may not be any difference in change of color or texture, very minimal change in texture, yet in the raw state it'll nap much worse than the heat treat. And you'll think to yourself, no, they made it out of the raw stuff, dude, because they're working always raw stuff because they're awesome. No, they heat treated it a little bit. It increased the nappability tremendously, and it doesn't look like they modified it or did the heat alteration on it. So you'd be wrong if you are thinking that it's all raw, right? I'm not saying you're definitely wrong, because they might have been only napping raw, but it's so easy to heat treat with such good results that they probably heat treated it because they're not stupid. Yeah, unless you assume they're stupid, then that's on you. Yeah, this one could use some more. It's still rough and dry, and it's snapping kind of okay, but I think I'm going to put this back in, because if it can get lustrous, it'd be better. This is not even lustrous at all, so I'm going to put that one back in. Right, lustrous, is that a word? This one is napping easier. I remember how hard this was. That was easy to remove. Yeah. Should I put this back in? No. I'm not going to put that back in, because sometimes that kind of stuff, I don't know what that will do, but sometimes that really grainy stuff does not react well to higher heats. It becomes way too crackly. Okay. This one, oh yeah, that one came off. That flake came off easy. Let's see. So I'm just gonna zone out a little bit. I'm not sure if I want to keep this or heat it again. think I want to heat it again. Yeah, let's heat that one again. That one's still kind of difficult to nap. This one is the same as the other one. What I could do is put this one back in and compare it to this one. This one's 345. And this one, I'm going to put it back in. And maybe we can find it again. All right. And compare. I got to remember not to nap that one yet. I'm going to put that one back in and heat it to, I think the next one is going to be 425. A little bit over 400. So I can see if there's a difference. Now the issue with this, come on. The issue with this, there is an issue with this. See how close this is to the Cortex? It can make a difference in consistency, but this one's also close to the Cortex on this side, so it should be all right. This should be a good candidate for comparison because they're both kind of close to the Cortex. Both of these, it makes a difference because the very interior often naps totally different than the Cortex material. All right, so this is a good candidate for that comparison, if I can find that piece again or if I remember that piece. All right, this one is napping well. Yeah, so that's good. All right, let's see. This one was difficult. It has a quartz pocket. I remember this one. Yeah, if I hadn't slept too many times between heat treats, I can remember. I remember this one. This one's going to need more heat. Even though I am able to remove some flakes pretty easily. Oh, I don't know. This seems to be doing okay. That almost flaked off. Hold on. There it goes. There's a slight bit of luster change. You see that? A little bit of luster. The rest of it is very dull. So this might be okay. But I think I am going to put this one back in. I want you to see that there is sometimes a drastic change in the glossiness. You're not going to see too much of a drastic change with a light heat treat. This is a light heat treat. Light is under 400, heavy is over 400. All right, degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a light heat treat if it's below 400 degrees. 400 is the average. For me, if you're going to learn heat treating from me, 400 is the average. I use that as the benchmark for the average temperature for heat treating. If it's below 400, it's a light heat treat. If it's over 400, it's a heavy heat treat. Right at 400 is a regular heat treat. Okay. This one naps pretty good, but I'm going to stick it back in. Just because. Yeah, all this stuff here, this particular, I think it was a big one. Was this a big nodule? Because it's all napping the same. And it looks like I have a lot of this. So this is good. It's good. This is from the same. Yeah. Yeah, this is from the same nodule. All right, let's see. Ouch. Yeah, one drawback is the fragileness. It gets more fragile when you heat treat it. Yeah, this one became snap and half chirped. So it's not that heat treatable. Should I put it in the waste? Yeah, I'm gonna put it into the useless. Hold on. I consider the snap in half stuff useless, so I'll put it into useless. Okay. I think I remember this one too. So that over there is useless stuff. I've already weighed this stuff in that little box. I didn't need to separate it because all I had to do, I should have thought of this earlier, is just dump all the useless stuff in there and then do one final weigh in on that stuff. Okay. The only thing is I was doing it little by little because my scale only goes up to like 4.5 pounds or something on my kitchen scale. I have a post office scale, but that only goes up to 25 pounds. And I don't want to be using my post office scale while I'm slinging rocks around. I can use my kitchen scale because it's only like, what, 10 bucks. This thing doesn't set me back very much, but it only goes up to like 4 pounds or something. All right. This one is napping okay. It's napping all right. I don't think it'll change in luster at all if I heat it higher. And it didn't change any, hardly any of this changed color, by the way. There's hardly any color change, if any. I see some Cortex that might be a little bit darker than when it got put in. Like this, there's a little bit of more of a reddish looking to it. A reddish look to it. It's looking a little reddish. But yeah, I can nap this. This is approaching the high quality raw nappability now. I can nap it into a thin biface. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. Do I want to mess with it and put it back in? Or just leave it? That's a nice quartz pocket. Yeah, I zinged right past that quartz pocket, which is a good sign. Let's see. Does it feel like it's working? Yeah, it's nice and smooth. It's nice and smooth and velvety now. Whereas on this side, it's kind of rough still, like very, very fine sandpaper. But this feels like a smooth ceramic tile, like the face of a smooth ceramic tile. And this feels like fine sandpaper. So there's a difference in feel. Not much in difference in look, but difference in feel for sure. Probably another way you can tell it's heat treated just by the feel of it. And on Guillermo's artifacts, you know, the ones that are most complete, most of them have that lustrous, not lustrous, that really smooth feel to it. So if it's made from stuff like this, then it's probably heat treat. Those complete, his most complete artifacts, some of them feel nice and smooth. Yeah. I don't think this will get much better with more heat treat. Let me just nap on it a little bit more to see if I can get rid of this turtleback. If I can get rid of the turtleback without too much trouble, there's no sense in putting it back in. Yeah, it's still a little bit tough. Of course, this is not the perfect scenario. I'm hitting way above center line. I don't want to lose the width if I don't have to. Now, some of these I'm going to duplicate some of Guillermo's artifacts. If I can find stuff that's similar. This is similar to one of his artifacts, or if not one, several have this type of gravel chert. So I want to make sure I don't ruin this piece. Did it work? Did it do it? Oh, almost. Yeah, I don't know if I want to put it back in. If it's going to work this well, it doesn't need more heat. Come on, I'm going to hit this again. Come on, get in there and fit in there nice and tightly. Oops. I'm going to hit this one more time and it should pop that crest off the top of that little hill there. Ready? Did it do it? No. I saw a spark. It's trying to do it. Not quite. That's all right. I cheat. There it is. Yeah. I got a lot of new viewers of my channel because of the Romolo eBay stuff. And they're saying, one of them said I was cheating using the steel or whatever. Oh, you're new. You have no idea how much cheating goes on with the metals. Oh no, you don't know. Nope. You'll find out. This is heat treating is cheating too. You know that, right? Oh yeah. The antler people go nuts with heat treats and metals. Yeah. They think it should be raw and antler, not heat treats and metals. No. It's good enough. This is good enough. I can remove turtlebacks. I don't need to heat this again. Why ruin it, right? Yeah. Why take the chance, I mean? It might get better, but why take the chance? I'm not going to take the chance. Am I going to nap this whole box like this? Well, I'm going to nap it until an hour and a half goes by, so if I've only gotten through 25% of the box after an hour and a half, so be it. I'm going to put this back in. I know this one can probably get better, and it's still pretty tough, so back in. Let's see. This one's still kind of tough. Yeah, back in. All right. I don't know. I can't tell. Sample it a little bit more. Oh yes, it works. It is working. It is good enough. It probably will get better with more heat, but it's the same. A lot of this is the same stuff. It's good. All right. Where's different stuff? I thought I had like a variety of different stuff. Okay, here's one. This one did change color. Yes, it did. It got redder and darker. Let's see if it actually looks good. I like these crystal pockets. If I can preserve those on some points, it looks pretty cool, but I don't try to keep those included because it's too much of a hassle. But if they end up in the point afterwards, it's good. It makes the point special. Right? Right. Why? Because as nappers, we gotta enjoy these little simple pleasures in life. Yeah. When you're hitting rocks, there's not too many things you can consider to be nice. It's just rocks after all. So you get these little simple pleasures, makes everything good. Yes, this one got glossier. It's still kind of crackly because I think there's defects in it, but it got glossier. See that? It'll probably get even more glossy if I raise it up, or if I reheat it. But if I don't have to, then I'm not gonna. I just want to see if I can get that turtle back off. Oops, there's an incipient bulb right there from nature. Nature hit that and abused it. Yep. Let's see. The flakes are flying. I might not be able to use this piece. Are we having a good focus time here, or is it all blurry? Oh, nice. Yeah. Very nice. It's glossy. See that? Yep. Am I excited? Yeah, I get excited when it works. I mentioned in a previous video that, you know, I've had experience doing this, but I still get excited. I mean, I knew it was going to work pretty good, but I still get excited when it does. Yeah, see that? Didn't take much. It's not like you got to raise it up to 700 degrees or something ridiculous like that. Ouch. It's going to be hard to capture the good stuff, but I think there's enough good stuff in there that I can use it. So that's good. No sense in putting that back in and taking a chance and ruining it. All right. Now, some of you might say, well, put it back in so we know what temperature does ruin it. Yeah. We want to know not only the temperature that makes it good, but what temperature ruins it. Do it. I don't want to know what temperature ruins it, because then it gets ruined. Yeah, I don't want to ruin any of this. I want my money's back. Right? I want to be able to make some good points. I need to put this back in. Yeah, this one can use another heat. It's still kind of rough. I don't see much difference in that one, although there is a slight difference, I believe. I think. This one, I don't know. If I can pop that turtle back off, then there's no need to heat treat it again. Yeah, the object is just to get it nappable without going overboard or taking too many chances. Come on, there it is. Yeah, this needs more heat. That was way too hard. More heat. All right. More heat. Yeah. Some of these I'm recognizing they need more heat. Because they must have come off the same nodule. Yeah, this one could use more heat too. So this is good stuff. I saw a spark. Usually when I see the sparks, it's still too tough. Yeah. Let's see. I remember this one. Yeah, it feels a little bit better, but not much. Right? I wish I had a photographic memory. Let me think here. This was hard last time to get any kind of travel. It's still kind of hard. Ooh, I'm getting some travel, but I think I can get better travel with higher heat. Yeah, it's doing well, but I think I can get better. All right, let's see if we can get a travel on this one. Yes, we got a travel. Is it good enough? Does it feel like high quality raw? I don't know. It does in a way, but then, hold on. Yeah, okay, it's good. Let's see. Sometimes, you know, I've napped a bunch of this in the past. Sometimes this becomes exceptionally good quality. I recognize this material from past nappings. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yep. It's still kind of rough. I think it'll be better if I reheat it. Yeah. From experience. Now, if I didn't have any experience and I got that, I would say it's finished. But with experience, I think this will gloss up more. All right. Put it back. With my experience, it's my experience in the past that would gloss up more, as far as I remember. Now, my memory is not perfect, so it may not be true. But I have a feeling that even if I can't remember, the lighter color ones usually are okay if you stick them back in. They don't have much of a chance of breaking up. The lighter color, the darker the chert in Texas, the more sensitive it is to heat, right? The greater the chance of messing it up with higher heat. The lighter colors don't get messed up all that often with higher heats, but the darker ones, yes, they do. Not in all cases, but as a general rule, generally speaking, don't mess too much with the darker ones. What did I do here? That's from the that's I don't know what that's from. It's not wet. It's some kind of thing from the rock. Yeah. This one feels like I can nap it, but I'm going to put it back in. Yeah, this looks like the good stuff. Like a lot of it down there. Just to be sure, let's see if I can remove that turtleback. Yeah, it's good. No sense in risking it. All right. Yeah, I think this will gloss up better if I put it back in. Yeah, put some of these coarser grain ones. Probably, although it's doing well, I think it can benefit from more heat. Yeah, let me just break it down a little bit further, just in case. Yeah, it's napping well, but let's take a chance and see how it does with some more heat. Yeah. All right, I remember this. I remember these. Let's see if they glossed up. Nope, it didn't get glossy. I want to put it back in just to see if it does get glossy. If it does, we're in business. I put all the debitage in here, so I'm not going to reheat. Well, scratch that. I am going to reheat it all. Yeah, even with the small debitage, even with these flakes down here, I'm just going to throw them all back in. That way it'll have a good mass for the cool down. You don't really need to have a lot of mass in there for the cool down, but I don't want to take any chances. See, this one looks like it got a slight change to it. But let's see. It's just slight change in the luster, but I'm going to put this back in. Yeah, put that back in. There's hardly any change at all, and the knappability is not that great. I can feel that's still pretty tough. That one naps good. There's no change in the color or texture, but it naps really well. This is the same stuff as before. Most of this stuff is this stuff here. Yeah. Just hold on. I'm going to try to remove some nice flakes. Yeah, it's good. All right. This one looks like the typical landscape stone for sure. Oops, there was a natural crack in there. Or did the heat treat do that? You gotta be careful with this stuff. Okay, that may have been an incipient crack that opened up during the heat treat. See that? It looks like a bulb of percussion right there. You know, this was removed this way, but there was an incipient crack that opened up during the heat treat. I want to put this back in. Yeah. Because it doesn't look like it changed at all. All right, here we go. This is something different. Let's see. This stuff reminded me of Mississippi gravel. Now let's see if it changed. It has changed slightly. See that? There's more gloss to it. There's more luster to it, and it feels velvety. Yeah. So it can be napped in this state. I'm wondering if it would be of any value to put it back in. Let's see. Yeah, it's easy to nap. So it's like high quality raw. I mean, yeah, it's like high quality raw. It's very easy to nap. So there's no sense in putting this back in, even though it didn't change much. You know, sometimes you go, man, I wish it would at least change colors and make it more attractive. But heck, if it naps well, that's it. It might change color if I put it back in. Oh yeah, let's see. Let's check this one out. This one probably needs more heat just by looking at it. from past experience. All right, here we go. This does look like it improved slightly, but not very much, so that's going back in. All right, I remember this one. Let's see. It naps easier. Not all that much easier though. I remember it wasn't too bad. Right, it wasn't too bad. Ooh, that's a nice one. Should I take a risk? Stick it back in. Maybe we can get some gloss on it. Okay, let's stick it back in. I am going to take a risk with that one. This has a potential of making a really cool looking point because of its different colors. I don't know. Should I take a chance? No, I'm not going to. Change my mind. It has a lot of neat colors. If I make a point out of that, it'll be nice. And I don't want to risk it. All right. It naps well enough now. All right, let's see what we got. Do we got something? Oh yeah, it's the same stuff. Yep. I should just throw one of these. Yeah, it's the same as most of this. I'm just going to throw this one back in at a higher heat and see what it does. Since I already have plenty of this that will nap well. If I lose this one, it's not going to be a big deal because I got plenty more. And we'll get to see if it actually improves even more with more heat. It's already napping like a high quality raw. But I'm going to put it back in. Let me see. Well, I'm going to label this one because I'll forget. Doesn't need heat, but do it anyway. To see if it gets better. Or let's just put glossier. See if it gets glossier. I know it'll probably get better, but I want to see if it gets glossier. Alright, this one here. I remember this. It is napping easier, but I'm going to put it back in because there's no gloss. I got to show you guys some glossiness, some gloss on these. If possible. Now there will be some glossiness on the other heat treats from the Primo stuff I separated out. This is all the regular stuff. I did separate out the rock to point ones that I consider to be actual Primo chert. This one naps easier, but it's got issues. I'm going to put it back in. It's got cracks. It's napping well. I probably won't be able to get anything out of it because it's got cracks. But if I put it in And it gets better. At least we know that that particular type gets better with higher heat. Yeah, same with this one. This one is too tough. We'll see if it gets better with higher heat. And like I said, these lighter colors, they can usually stand to be heated much higher, even though it's snapping pretty good. I'm going to stick it back in because it's not glossy. Yeah, that's this stuff. All right, what do we got? Anything different? No, this is that same stuff. All right, this. Yeah, in my experience, this stuff, if it's the same stuff I'm used to, it gets glossier than this. So I'm going to put it back in. This light gray stuff, that usually gets pretty glossy, in my experience. Ooh, this stuff might get glossy. Let's see. Come on. No, not yet. We'll put it back in. What was the verdict on this stuff? I can't remember if I said I was going to leave it alone or put it back in. It naps well enough, but I'm just going to put it back in. See, almost an hour. Ooch, that naps well. Okay. Let's see about this one. It is napping pretty easily. I think I can get some gloss out of that one. This one, I can get some gloss out of that one too. Oh yeah, this one with the nasty quartz in the middle. Let's see. Ooh, it glossed up a little bit. Yeah, it looks good. Yes, yes, yes. Remember this? Let's see. Come on. Needs more. It's napping okay, but it needs more. Yeah, I think so. All right, so where are my bifaces? Here they are. Yeah, the bifaces were at the bottom. There's no gloss. There's no gloss to this. It's napping okay. Yeah, it naps well. Should I put it back in? Yeah, I'll put it back in. I want to see some of this stuff gloss up. Because I know it's in there. I know some of this stuff is in there. This is going to be good. This one, I don't know. Ooh, that glossed up a little bit. I'm going to put it back in anyway. Not much change. Not much change at all. Let me see. So in case you don't know, in case you just tuned in, or you were doing your laundry or something, these, what was I going to say? Dang it. Oh, gosh. I forgot. Snapping okay. I'm trying to remember how well it napped in the first stage. I forgot what I was going to say. Probably not important. Alright, so I'm going to heat that up again. Yeah, this snap's easier. Much easier. But it feels snapping halfish. Yeah. Back in. Even if it feels snapping halfish, I'll put it back in. Yeah, oh well. That one is snapping halfish. For sure. When it's snapping halfish, it's not very useful. That was surprising. I don't know, I have some of this in the good pile, but this particular piece seems too crumbly. You can kind of see what I mean about learning how to do turtlebacks. It gets this weird shape. So in Guillermo's artifacts, one of his has this almost this exact shape, except it's bigger than this one. And it gets this shape after trying to remove the turtleback and thin it down. Sometimes it can be done. But see the way it starts to develop? That's why I determined that one to be an attempt to thin it down. If you watch the Guillermo's Artifacts or Guillermo's Rocks videos, the first part 1, he has one that took me years to figure out why they would nap it that way. Was it a core? Were they taking blades off? What was it? Or was it a tool for scraping or something? No, it was the attempt to remove turtleback. And I'm not doing this on purpose. I'm really attempting to try to get that turtleback off. I may have said that it was an inexperienced napper trying to do it. It may very well have been, but you never know. It could have been an experienced napper just having a bad day. There we go. Yeah, they didn't have steel back in the day, but I bet you they wish they did. If they would have known. Yep. Because I can blast through this stuff without removing too much width. There's no way I could do this when it's not heat treated. Yeah, there we go. It's not bad. I kind of want to put it back in, but I don't know. No, I don't need to put it back in. That was perfect. That was a perfect flake. Now, was it perfect because it was near the Cortex? It could be, yes. It could be this is cruddy here, but I think it's good enough to nap as is. Yeah, I'm not going to risk it. All right. No more big stuff. No more stuff that I was really curious about. I said I was going to nap for an hour and a half, but I got so much stuff to do today. I think I'm just going to quit here and then stick all this back in. Keep this out on the right. Yeah, I'll keep this out. These are good pieces. Everything else is going back in. All the flakes, all the debitage, all this stuff on the left, it's all going back in for the next heat treat. Yeah. I can pull some of these out that I know are going to be good. Like I know that's good. So, let's see. So I don't have to put them all back in. Yeah. That one's not bad, but I'm going to put it back in. Ooh, that one has a nice coloration. Right there, anyway. Yeah, it's the good stuff. It doesn't need any more heat. No. That one probably does not either. Yeah, this darker stuff is probably good. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't nap this sort of thing. This sort of flake. This is all debitage to some of you guys. You won't even touch it. But for people who don't have any stone, that's all they got. They will touch it. Oh, yes. Okay, this one was all by itself in the box. Let's see what this looks like. Remember, this is just a lone flake. When I first received the box, or when I first opened it up, this was all by its lonesome. I don't think it came off of any of the nodules. It was just thrown in there. And I think it can go back in for some more heat. Very little change, I'm assuming. Who knows, maybe it's changed a lot. I didn't nap on it out of the box, I just threw it in here. Yeah. So I don't really know what it's like completely raw, but I have a feeling it's not much different than that. So that's going back in. So you remember the colors, right? get your color spectrometer out or whatever and do the color thing. See if the colors change when I bring it back out after the next heat treat. All right, so that's it. Good enough. I think I sampled what I needed to sample. There's a lot of good flakes still in there that I could pull out. You know, this material here, I had a lot of it. It naps well at this temperature, but I'm going to stick it back in. And we'll see. On the next heat treat, we should see some more color change. And hopefully we'll see more glossy effects. Yeah. Should see some, maybe even some drastic changes. Maybe. I don't know what that is. Some of these have that, something oozed out of the stone. That's what I'm thinking anyway. It might be something that was on there, like an adhesive or something. I don't know. I do notice this sometimes with some stones, but I notice it on the inside too. You'll find a little pocket or something, and it'll be glossy, like there's melted pitch on the inside. I don't remember seeing it too much like this on the outside. All right. Okay, that's it. I got my good stuff over here. I'll separate and put it in a box. And then we'll be able to compare that to the new batch of heat treat coming out and see how much it would change. I've got some of this good stuff still in here, so we'll be able to make a comparison to see if it improved any with a higher heat. So, because this is some of this good stuff. All right, it's the same stuff. This is good. I don't need to heat treat it anymore, but there's still some flakes in here, and we'll see if it actually improves. If it does improve a lot, maybe I'll stick some of these back in. Yeah, it might be worth it if it improves a lot. Okay. All right, there you go.